Hi everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Atalo Insider. As usual, we're going to have a look at what's changing in the roadmap, so what features Microsoft is currently working on, what they're releasing and what they're launching, and then we're going to have a look at some message center items as well. So this will give an indication of what's been broken on the Office 365 platform over the last couple of weeks, what's currently broken. And then we're going. We've got a few updates to go through today. I've had a few problems this morning with this, so I haven't actually run through them myself, so we're going to go through this fresh, and there'll be a great learning experience for all of us at the same time, which is great. Now, bear in mind, as usual, what I say, these are the new items that have entered these statuses over the last 2 weeks. So there may be more items in these categories than we are talking about now, but these are the new items. So if you did see last week's video and the weeks before, then you should keep up to date. So what we're trying to do is just focus on what's changing in the roadmap at this point. Otherwise, we'll have tons and tons of things to get through, and we'd never get there. So, so what we'll do, if I jump straight into my screen share, into my app. And what we're going to do first is we'll go through the message center items. These are from my tenant, so these may or may not be the same as yours, but it does give an overview of what's been going on the platform over the last 2 weeks. So I have 5 current issues in my tenant at the moment. And the first one is, apparently, I think all these are Exchange Online actually, so we can't view shared calendars in Outlook on the web. So service degradation, so it's still kind of working but not optimally. This has been going on since the 6th of January and is still an issue. So delegate users may be unable to view shared calendars and Outlook on the web. Office 365 portal, so Microsoft 365 reports data may be inaccurate. So from the 10th of January, just beware if you are using these. Admins may notice that Microsoft 365 reports aren't accurate starting from January the 10th. Service is currently restoring, so that sounds like there's a fix in place that's not fully rolled out yet. Can't view download security and compliance center message traces. This has been going on since the 12th of January, so I think we actually saw this last time. Admins may be unable to view or download message traces from the SDC. What we've got here, can't update meetings, Exchange Online. So from the 24th for the last few days, users may intermittently be unable to update calendar meetings and resource bookings. Can't open encrypted emails. So this has been going on since the 27th of January. Users may be unable to open encrypted emails when authenticating using the email client. Okay, so we've had 14 close incidents as well. So first one is, this was the 17th to the 18th of January, so just after the last session we did. Users were unable to insert a Users were unable to insert a printout of their OneNote page when using Office for the web. So I go to the correct bottom of my screen, there we go. Excel client crashes, so from the 14th to the 18th for 4 days, users may have encountered Excel client crashes in several scenarios. Can't access Microsoft 365 services, so users may have been unable to access some Microsoft 365 services. So quite generic, that just went on for a couple of hours, not very long. False positives, this is one that wasn't actually an issue, but it was recorded as such. Again, users may have been unable to access some services. Yammer, so from the 23rd for a couple of hours, users may have experienced a delay of less than 10 minutes when posting a message. No search results on Office.com, so that on the 23rd of January for about 8 hours, users may not have received results when searching in Office.com. Can't sign into Outlook on the web. So users may be unable to sign in to Outlook on the web. That was about 10 hours, 9 hours. Multiple degraded Microsoft 365 services on the 24th, just for an hour. So users may have experienced degraded service for Teams, SharePoint Online, OneDrive for Business, and Yammer. Can't see file previews in Yammer, so users may have encountered a blank image when attempting to preview a file in Yammer, and that went on for about 4 hours on the 28th. Can't use attach files button in Outlook on the web, so on the 21st to 28th, so for a week, users may have been unable to attach files to emails using the attach button in Outlook on the web. And can't share or stream on PowerPoint during Skype meeting broadcasts, so users may be unable to share or stream PowerPoint content during Skype meeting broadcasts. That was, again, just a couple of hours there. Unable to render OneDrive for Business classic UI pages, so users may be unable to render OneDrive for Business classic UI pages, and unable to render SharePoint Online classic UI pages as well. So obviously the same issue that affects both at the same time. This was on the 30th, so yesterday, just for a few hours. So if any of your users struggle with your SharePoint pages, in fact we actually had some issues I think that we noticed, so I wonder if this is the reason why. And lastly, can't upload new Microsoft Stream videos. So on the 30th, for again 3 hours, users may have been unable to upload new Microsoft Stream videos. So you may well have received some support calls on those. It's good to kind of keep checking the message center if you do get support calls in on these, because sometimes you may have issues that aren't your fault. And if you're anything like me, you can go and spend an awful lot of time trying to resolve an issue that turns out to be not your fault. Okay, so what we can do now is let's go and have a look at the roadmap items and let's see what's been changing on the platform and what there is in here. So, okay, so if we run in here, let's just go back, click on right links, go into the roadmap. We've had no cancelled items in the last 2 weeks, so we have 34 items that have entered the launch status in the last 2 weeks. So there is obviously going to be more in that time that have launched, but these are the new ones. 19 items have entered the rolling out status in the last 2 weeks. Again, more items will be rolling out at the same time, but these are the new ones for you to be aware of, so it really is important to watch this every other week. 9 items have entered the in development for a little bit of a longer view. Okay. So what has launched and launched, the difference between rolling out and launched, I'll just explain, is items that are rolling out means that you may or may not see them in your tenant at this point. So when Microsoft releases services, it can take a bit of time for it to roll out through the whole Office 365 platform. Bear in mind, it isn't just one SharePoint server that's hosting this, there's multiple farms, multiple different sections of it, so it takes a bit of time to roll these features out. So sometimes it can take a week, sometimes it can take 3 months, there is some variety there. So you may not see these items, but they may start appearing in your tenant. So you can go out and start to educate your users on what there is coming up. And then when something's launched, that means it should be available in everybody's tenant. Okay, so that's a differentiator between it. Now let's just jump back in. So what has launched in the last 2 weeks? 6 powerful new functions in Excel. Microsoft has added 6 new functions to use with dynamic arrays to supercharge your spreadsheets. That is filter, sort by unique, sequence and rand array. We've actually seen this previously, I think in either rolling out or in development, so that's going to be pretty useful. Same for, I think this is Excel on the web as well. Excel Android, sorry, this is different versions, this is the Android version as well. And general availability for iOS in Excel, same function. Dynamic arrays, so this is Excel for the Mac. Dynamic arrays use one formula that can return multiple values. So now you can quickly type a formula that returns multiple values and they'll automatically spill into the neighbouring cells. Okay, so same for Excel on iPhones or in iOS. Same for Excel here. Yeah, general availability on Excel for Android, and also this Windows desktop version of Excel. So what we find here is Microsoft sometimes has different items for the different platforms. So it's the same feature that's obviously hit all the different apps at the same time. So number 10. New Yammer files in Office 365 connected groups will be stored in SharePoint. So Yammer will make SharePoint the default file location for new files uploaded to connected groups, enabling local data residency for documents, images and videos. That's something that would be very welcome. I quite like the merging of these technologies. Microsoft 365 Usage Analytics and Power BI application. So to help you better understand your usage of Microsoft 365, Microsoft has created a new Power BI application. That application will replace the existing Usage Analytics Power BI content pack, and the new application includes the same data as the content pack, but has an updated layout and graphics. It'll be interesting to have a look at that one at some point. Outlook on the web, meeting insights. So when you click on a meeting event in your calendar, Outlook will show you relevant content like email files or relevant information from LinkedIn for your meeting, so you can easily find what you need. Meeting insights is now rolling out worldwide. There is a link there if you're interested as well. This will be quite interesting. I guess a lot of this will come down to who you've invited into your meeting, and also maybe some of the wording you put in the agenda as well. So it'll be very interesting to have a look at. Manual sensitivity labeling of email in Outlook on the web. So ability to manually apply Microsoft Information Protection sensitivity labels when authoring an email in the Office 365 version of Outlook on the web. Outlook on the web suggested meetings add-in is off by default. So the suggested meetings add-in is currently enabled by default for organizations. An upcoming update to Outlook will change this behavior, and this add-in will still be installed but disabled by default. So if you've got users who rely on this, I don't believe the setting will change for them, but new users coming and starting to use it, then you'll see a different default value. So just something to be aware of when bringing new users into the organization. And Microsoft Bookings online meetings. So Bookings will integrate with Teams and Skype meeting capabilities, so businesses can set up services with online meeting enabled, and a meeting link will be added to the booking invite, which customers can use to join the appointment. Outlook on the web, filters in room booking. This is GCC actually. So now when creating a meeting, you can browse for more rooms, and Outlook will show you the features of each room, which can be set up by the organization's admin, and you can filter rooms based on them. That'd be really useful for people with lots of meeting rooms based on what capabilities that they have. Number 17, Outlook on the web. So new cloud doc sharing experience. Again, this is GCC. So Outlook on the web is updating how you share cloud documents from OneDrive and SharePoint. And now when you paste the link for a OneDrive or SharePoint file in a message, it will replace it with the name of the file and the corresponding Office app icon. That link will allow you to manage permissions for the file using a new sharing dialog. Outlook on the web, again GCC, RSVP in message list. So Outlook will allow you to respond to a meeting invite directly from the message list with an RSVP button in the message. And when you click on the RSVP, you can accept, decline, or tentative. And additionally, you will see a mini calendar where you can see if you have any conflicts. These little things are really useful, just make life a little bit easier. Signals. Okay, so Microsoft is adding visual cues about the status of a file, such as checkouts, sharing DLP blocks, or missing metadata to modern views. I think we've been seeing this for quite a while, building up, so obviously just constantly improving the modern experience, which is great. Sticky column headers. This is something that I've been looking forward to for a while. When I saw it, I think I saw it Ignite last year actually. So in essence, for large lists and libraries, when you scroll through SharePoint lists and libraries, you tend to find the headers disappear off the top of the page. What's going to happen now is as you scroll through the data, the headers will stay where they are, so you can actually see what your different columns are. It feels like a very simple update, but I think this is going to be really useful for those of us who still spend a lot of our time in SharePoint lists. Modern document sets, again, something that I've been looking forward to for quite a long time. I haven't looked into these yet, but document sets are getting a modern, have now got a modern user experience. I used to be a big fan of document sets, so I'd be very interested in going to have a look at this. At some point I need to start doing a showcase on some of these features. I'll try and plan that in. Enhanced list editing in grid view. Use new quick edit to cut and paste data from other sources. Thank you very much, Microsoft. We've been waiting for this for a long time. If you're familiar with the old datasheet view in lists and libraries, we could actually copy content from Excel and paste it into the datasheet view. We've not been able to do that in the modern list experience since it's come out. So finally, we can paste content into the quick edit view. Add a call to action link to a hero web part. We've seen this previously on the rolling out, I recall. So using the latest version of the hero web part on SharePoint, authors can add a link to content and an additional call to action link that displays on the tile. 24. Button and call to action web parts. So the button web part and the call to action web part allow you to provide text on a button that will load content for the page viewer to consume, and the call to action web part can add text or an image. News gets hero tiles as a layout, so a layout similar to the hero web part is now available in News. Azure Information Protection Analytics is launched in preview, so gain insights to your classified, labelled and protected data across your environment, including the volume of labelled and protected documents and emails over time, and the distribution of files by label type and where the labels were applied. Outlook on the web is getting inline translation. This stuff still blows my mind. So inline translation detects the language of an incoming email message and offers to translate them into your mailbox's language. That's pretty cool. Let's have a look at that. Outlook on the web, recurring series, room availability. So now when creating a recurring series, Outlook will show you the number of instances a room is free for your series, so you can book with confidence. Marketing's got the hand on that one. Outlook on the web, more controls for events from email. So Microsoft are making available more end user granular controls for events from email. Not the most descriptive there. That's for GCC, bear in mind, so it might be something we already have in our normal tenants. Security defaults for Azure AD. So security default, we've seen this, we've come across, discussed this before. Security defaults is a generally available version of Azure Active Directory baseline protection policies and is available today for all tenants. Today being the 29th, Microsoft will be gradually replacing baseline protection policies with security defaults. Super useful, and there's a link there if you want more information on that. Outlook on the web, automatic sensitivity labeling. Again, we've seen these coming through over the last few months. Admins can set up sensitivity labels, enable auto classification for each of them, and apply those labels across certain groups and conditions. What else we got here? Outlook for iOS, SMIME, automated certificate delivery. Microsoft 365 Compliance Center available to Office 365 tenants. So Microsoft Office 365 Compliance Center will be available to Office 365 tenants, and Office 365 customers can start using a specialized compliance workspace. More details there. If you've not looked at Compliance Center, it's actually well worth a look. It's pretty interesting and very powerful. So migrate compliance solutions from Office 365 Security and Compliance Center to the M365 Compliance Center. Okay, so there's an option to move your settings over. Okay, so that's everything that has is finished rolling out in the last 2 weeks, and we've got 19 items here that have started rolling out in the last 2 weeks. So we'll zip through these. Out of time, 18 minutes, good, not too long. Updates to the Threat Protection Status Report. So the Threat Protection Status Report will be enhanced with several new changes. More detailed characterizations of threats caught by the threat detection technology, a new way to break down threats caused by associated policy type, and new ways to break down threats caught by delivery status, additional filter of data by EOP versus ATP, and enhanced and refined details view with additional investigation and diagnostic information. This is not my area of expertise, so I'm sure that will mean far more to some other people than it does to me. URL Threat Protection Report and Compromised Users Report. So Microsoft are adding 2 new reports to the Security and Compliance Center. The URL Threat Protection Report will be a new report that covers linked threats detected inside email, Office apps and Teams. And that report will be based on per URL click, as opposed to a traditional report where it's usually based on the per email message. The Compromised Users Report will be a new report that shows the state of any suspicious or restricted user accounts to give them admin visibility of any account compromise that might have happened inside the tenant. Acronyms answers are rolling out to Microsoft Search. So did you know that 2 to 3% of search queries entered by employees are related to acronyms? The new acronyms feature in Microsoft Search helps you navigate your company's often confusing alphabet soup. And now when you come across an acronym you may not recognize with a simple search on Bing, do not recognize, a simple search on Bing will reveal common definitions from public sources and your organization's unique definitions with Microsoft Search. That will be good. The amount of times I go to a new customer and they start talking at me in acronyms, it gets very frustrating, so it'd be quite nice to have the ability to break those out. Outlook on the web, new experience in mobile browsers. Outlook on the web, Room feature card is rolling out, so you will be able to see Room features and details in the Room card in Outlook on the web, similar to what we've just seen launch on the filters. Outlook on the web changes in tasks. So in the coming weeks, Outlook on the web will update the names of your tasks module and the tasks tab in My Day to To-Do. There's been a lot of interesting conversation over Microsoft To Do over the last couple of months, mainly around the closing down of Wunderlist being replaced by To Do. So I guess Microsoft is closing down some of their multitude of different technologies to do task management and trying to coordinate it all via To Do. So I think that would be quite useful to bring everything into one To Do application and one task management application. Outlook on the web, suggested locations. When you click on the location bar to search for a room or location, Outlook will suggest available rooms that you have used before, so you can quickly find the most convenient room. These updates are nice. It's for GCC, by the way. These updates are really nice. It may just save a few minutes or a few seconds, but the marginal gains across an organisation can actually have really big impacts on productivity as a whole for a business. Outlook for iOS, in-app icons with coherent, fluent design. So Outlook rolls out new icons with the application that adhere to the Office 365 fluent design approach. Outlook for Android, again, app icons going through the fluent design. Users can pin apps to the Teams left rail. We've discussed this a couple of times. We've seen this in development, I think. So Teams users can now customize what apps appear in the left rail in Teams, so that should be really useful. Near real-time access to audit data. So high bandwidth allows allowances in the audit API to ease limits association with throttling during log ingestion and enable fast access to audit events. I think this is really useful and really important because obviously if we're monitoring activity on the environment, we need access to the data as quick as possible to know if there's anything we should be worrying about. Longer term retention on audit logs, so log retention for up to 1 year to meet investigation requirements and customised retention policies per an organisation's requirements. That's for DoD. Advanced e-discovery dashboard in preview. So in some cases you may have a large volume of documents and emails that need to be reviewed. Before you start your review process, you can use the advanced e-discovery dashboard. Make sense. Before you start your review process, you can use the Advanced eDiscovery dashboard. You may want to quickly analyze your corpus to identify trends or key statistics that will help you develop your review strategy. I think I understand what they're trying to say. That's not great sentence structure. OneNote migration with KFM. So until now, the OneDrive Sync client has not supported OneNote files. I think we've seen this previously actually, and it's critical to migrate OneNote files as any others. Thus, Microsoft are introducing the ability for the OneDrive Sync client to help migrate desktop OneNote files when leveraging no folder move to move your primary desktop folders to the cloud. Oh, okay, right, fine. So this is mapping your documents, your pictures, and your desktop to OneDrive automatically. I see. Reply to an Office comment from Outlook using actionable messages. So with this update, you will be able to save time and collaborate faster with comments and context previews in at mention and comment emails. This implies when using Outlook, you'll be able to reply to the comments without even needing to leave Outlook. I'm not sure about some of these functionality. I need to see this in action. I have an issue where we make changes in emails. There's some other conversations I've seen around this as well. I struggle. An email should be a representation of the email that was sent. So if we start to reply to comments, and if that stays in the body of the email, then the email isn't as it was sent and received. So I'm not too sure about some of these technologies. Legal hold for Teams, private channels, messages. So legal hold for Teams will now support private channel messages. There is no action required to enable legal hold for Teams private channels. To learn more about how to apply legal hold private channels, then there is a link on the screen there for you to follow. Advanced eDiscovery tenant reports in preview. So the Advanced eDiscovery tenant reports feature aggregates information around custodians, data sources, communications and cases, and you can filter your view based on various criteria and export the aggregated information for further analysis. Two more on this one. The OneDrive Sync client now shares credentials between the rest of Office 365, the rest of the Office suite on macOS. So accounts that have been signed into Office will be a selectable option in OneDrive when adding a new account. Great, makes that a little bit easier, so happy to see that. Conditional access for macOS. So OneDrive for Mac now respects conditional access for policies such as forced MFA, location-based IP range filtering, and device compliance is managed by Azure Intune. And devices that do not fulfill the conditional access requirements will not be able to sync content. And that's it. So that's everything that's moved into the rolling out phase. Now, just to finish off, we just have 9 items on the in development. So this is where we have a few items that have gone into an in development phase, so we probably won't see these for a little bit. Some might come through quickly, some might take 6 months or a year to come through, but it gives us a little bit of an idea of what Microsoft is currently working on that we're going to see later on. Again, if these are important to you, you can start the process of educating your users early so they can expect these to come in when they're ready. Keep up with these sessions, and then we'll know a bit more about when they're going to roll into the environment. That's screen share, so 9 items, not too many. So Outlook for Windows, signature cloud settings. So your signature settings will be stored in the cloud, so your experience is consistent when you access Outlook for Outlook for Windows on any computer. Good, this annoys me so much. Set up a new computer, my signatures are not there. Why not? They will be soon. Great. So especially through, hopefully this comes to iOS and Android as well, so that my signatures are consistent across all my devices. That will be good. Extension of Microsoft Search in Bing to be installed to Office 365 Pro Plus customers. So starting with version 2002 of Office 365 Pro Plus, an extension for Microsoft Search in Bing will be installed that makes Bing the default search. Right, I'm going to go back and start this one again. This is really important, and I'm really not comfortable with this, to be perfectly honest. So let's run through this. Starting with version 2002 of Office 365 Pro Plus, an extension for Microsoft Search in Bing will be installed that makes Bing the default search engine for Google Chrome and Firefox web browsers. This extension will be installed with a new installation of Office 365 Pro Plus, or when an existing installation of Office 365 Pro Plus is updated. Even after Bing is made the default search engine, your users can still change to a different default search engine in Google Chrome or Firefox on their own. Right, this one warrants some conversation, I think. I'd be really interested to hear what everyone else thinks on it, but I've got a real issue with this. I actually first came across this on the Microsoft Cloud show, I think it was. I think Andrew Connor was talking about this, and I'm not comfortable that the Office Pro Plus installer is going to be making changes to my desktop and my application without my permission. Why does that have any control over what I run on Google Chrome, Firefox, and even other browsers? I don't want that to forcibly change my choices. I'm really uncomfortable with this one. I'll be interested in what everyone else thinks. But beware, this is going to happen unless I cancel it. But if you are unsure about this, then do get on Twitter, tweet me, let me know what you think. Because I don't know, I'm not happy with this. Okay, carrying on. Faster and more reliable Exchange PowerShell commandlets. So the new Exchange online management commandlets are significantly more reliable and much faster than those previously available. I don't use them. I'm sure lots of people do. I'm sure lots of people will be very happy about this. Updated feature, so update Security and Compliance Center link in Admin Center. So it kind of ties in. We've seen that Microsoft is changing the Security and Compliance Center. and obviously the link will need to update to the new Compliance Center as it comes online. Additional Power Automate triggers for Microsoft Teams. Streamline. Okay, we don't need the marketing, but streamline routine tasks in Microsoft Teams with 2 new Power Automate triggers. Trigger actions when a new teammate joins, whether that's creating a welcome message or sharing onboarding materials. And users will also be able to create custom message actions for a selected message trigger. This will be useful. Bring people into Microsoft Teams. We do this. We have an external team for customers, so it'd be quite nice when we add a customer in there to just post a welcome message in or send them some information on how to use the team. So I think that'd be quite good. SharePoint integrations with Power Automate and Power Apps to GCC tenants. So in this update, Microsoft are enabling you and your users to create and manage custom flows with Power Automate and custom forms and apps with Power Apps for SharePoint lists and libraries in the GCC environment. These are great. We've had these for a while in normal tenants, so it's nice to see that feature come into GCC tenants. I'm literally writing a Power App forms for SharePoint lists at the moment, and I've got to be honest, I like the experience. Outlook on the web, news tasks experience update. I think we've just discussed this. So this is for GCC as well. So the new task experience in Outlook on the web. Zoom out further in roadmaps. So see an even bigger picture when you view your roadmaps at 4 additional levels. So 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, and 6 years. So this is for project, obviously. And the last one, enhancements to guided hunting experience. So Microsoft Information Protection here. So Microsoft are working on the following improvements to the guided hunting experience. Addition of details, filter and export capability for delivery location, special action, directionality, overrides, URL threat, not filter for recipient, sender or sender domain, and time filter modified to allow filtering by hours, an incident widget renamed to Action Center in the threat management review. Okay, not my area of expertise, so hopefully that means something to other people. And there we have it. So that's all of the updates and the changes over the last 2 weeks. I think we're running in about 32 minutes. So that's really good. Try not to keep it too long. Lots of interesting ones there. If anything there catches your eye, then please either drop me a message in the comments or please tweet me at Mark Stokes. Very interesting to hear what you think, and please join me again in 2 weeks. Or I'm going to try and move this to weekly. I keep saying that. If I can get my schedule sorted out, then we'll do it. But it seems to be working so far. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. I hope that was useful, and I will see you shortly.